Hello, everyone. I had a topic I thought was pretty interesting I wanted to talk about today. The topic of today is, are competitive players ruining Warhammer 40K? And this topic may sound like it's your usual whinging from a YouTube personality, but I promise you it's different than that. It's a bit more nuanced. What prompted this discussion was a post I saw by another YouTuber who covers some of the same chaos-driven content I do, Blog for the Blood God. They made a video titled Abaddon the Despoiler is Dead. This video is similar to ones I've done on my channel in the past where I talked about Flamers and how upset I was with their rules on release, in that it's very fixated on the current status of Warhammer 40K and a unit that, we're dissatisfied with. It uses kind of the classic style that you would expect for kind of these YouTube clickbait titles where it's got like a picture of Abaddon, his eyes are X'd out, stuff like that. And I don't actually want to get into like the quality of the post, whether or not I agree with it. I'm more interested in the discussion that it prompted because it wasn't what I expected. So I think as a competitive player, we have a tendency to fixate on the highest level of play. And I know a lot of people will hear us as personalities for the hobby, see us post regularly about what we are happy with or dissatisfied with, what we think is the best, etc. But it seems like this post struck a nerve. There was a commenter that stated, tournament players are the bane of this hobby. That commenter received more support than the post itself did. This comment made me have to take a step back for a second, because by no means are my hands clean when it comes to, my optimism in the space. And from what I can tell, that seems to be this commenter's issue with the post. And no, I don't think the occasional competitive player complaining is really going to ruin the hobby of 40K. However, when I did read this, it made me reflect back on something that had been said to me by one of the creators of 40K, Andy Chambers.
Competitive play will strangle a game over time if you let it.
So what did Andy mean by that? Well, what he meant in context to the clip I showed you was that competitive players are very focused on the most optimum way that you can play the game. When you play the game in a competitive environment, at the end of the day, a focus on the way that you write your list and you make your inclusions pays mind to the idea of winning. And because of that, we have a tendency to overlook the other very important aspects of the Warhammer experience. So when we say things like Abaddon is dead, we mean it in the very narrow context of, well, Abaddon doesn't fit in my competitive list anymore. But Abaddon isn't dead. I mean, the model still exists. It's an amazing model. It's beautiful, in fact, one of the better ones in the Chaos line. And despite it getting point increases, it itself is not gone. I can still bring that and play that at my local tournaments or at my hobby store with my friends. So when we make these brash, pretty negative videos about a certain model and we post that or we send that to people that are there for the general Warhammer experience, the reception is usually not warm. We are, in essence, telling them that they can't enjoy the models and the rules that they enjoy. So I think my takeaway is maybe I need to be more careful with my own videos. Especially, I don't want to create the perception that your models are unplayable or you can't enjoy the game experience with something you love. But I think it's really interesting to consider the fact that the more and more the game becomes competitively focused, the more and more it alienates the rest of the community that just wants to have a good time. And so that's where I'm going to end today's video. I just wanted to talk about it, put my thoughts out there. I mean, what do you think? Maybe I'm wrong here. I also want to say very importantly that I don't have anything personally against Blog for the Blood God. I've made videos like that myself. I was just more or less surprised by the community reaction to it. So yeah, Thanks for joining me, and I hope you have a good rest of your day.